Hello, welcome to Mountaineer Homestead. This is Betty, and today we're going to be making some homemade yeast bread. I already have in here our water, which is 3 cups of hot water, 105 to 115. I'll link all the description down below for the recipe. But I have it going right here. You see? That's yeast, 2 tablespoons, a half a cup of sugar, and 3 cups of water. So you can use this recipe for hot rolls, actually sandwich bread, cinnamon rolls, pepperoni rolls, anything like that will be really good for that. And our bread flour, which is I'm using Pillsbury Best bread flour. And we'll use 5 cups of flour for that. So, while that's working, put you over here so you can see. Let that foam up a little bit and get that yeast working. Next, we'll go in with the butter, which I use butter instead of oil, or you can use Crisco, the butter flavored Crisco if you want to, but I like the butter because it gives it a little bit more stickiness. So let's put in the butter. Already have it all measured out. This recipe takes about 2 hours. So we'll time lapse, well, not time lapse, but we'll get back to after we put it into a warm place. And add your salt to let it rise. Alright, so we get that all mixed in, and then we can start adding the flour. And also, I'll put a whisk on first so we can get everything mixed really well, and then I'll be putting on the dough hook. I use the, you can do this by hand if you would like, but I've used my KitchenAid for this because it helps with the kneading process, so I won't have to knead it very much at the end. Okay, let's start measuring out our flour. I don't know about you all, but I usually keep my flour in the refrigerator or the freezer. Let's turn this down a little bit. Put our 1 cup in here. We'll start out with 2 cups at first, and then you'll add a cup each time until you reach 5 cups. That's 2. Ooh, it's gonna flop. You want to take your spoon and get down on the edges. Always make a mess. It's not cooking unless you're making a mess, huh? But here you go. This is what it looks like with the 2 cups of flour. See how it's getting really silky? Okay, let's turn it off for a minute and let's put the dough hook on. Because it's going to start getting Okay. Now we can also add another cup of flour while we've got it turned off. So that's 3 cups of flour so far. Y'all keeping count? You want to level it off too. See? One more ready, that's number 4. Just edges. You can use a spatula or a wooden spoon. And since I used the butter, it will be a little bit sticky, don't forget. Covered in flour. These are my family's favorite, I do have to say. Okay, last one. And in the meantime, while that's finishing up, you want to get you a glass bowl. Glass works best because it holds in heat. Okay? Get you some butter. This is the rest of the stick of butter that I was using. Okay? And you want to butter your bowl. This is where your dough's going to go, and it's going to rise in this bowl. So just take it and just butter it really good. That butter's soft. Get in there with my hands. Throughout this process, you're going to see that you use quite a bit of butter in this recipe. Butter is better. Alright. See here? I'll set that aside. And I think. It tried to get away from me, didn't it? Okay. Let's scrape this off. Oh, it's good and warm. Scrape this down. Let's take this off. Okay, once you get it down here, it's really sticky. Now you're probably going to have to knead it now. It usually says 5 minutes, but since it went around with the dough hook, it won't be that long, okay? My hand's wiped off. Clean up some of this flour that I got everywhere. Okay. So, let's get our bowl off. Let's get me a space here so I can knead it out a little bit. I always usually lay down a piece of wax paper. Try to get right here. Wax paper, so that way, just in case my counter is not as clean as it's supposed to be, since we have children in the house. So what you want to do want to take some of your flour, put it down on your surface. Okay. Take your bowl. Get it out of your bowl here. Make your dough. Trying to get you all to see here. You can tell, if you've made bread before, you can tell that the way your dough feels, if it's going to be a heavy or a light and fluffy roll. That's how I could tell. What to do is put a little bit of flour on top of here. Let's move you all so you can see this better. If you be seeing me, you need to be seeing the bread. There we go. Ooh, it's nice and soft. Put enough on my board. Always put more flour on it. That way you can get it working good. There we go. Should have got my pastry board out, but I'll get better as I go along with these videos. I do apologize. I'm not a camera person, so tech savvy. But I do like to cook. I do like to teach people a little bit, so there we go. And oh, by the way, we have a little boy goat now. We have 3 new babies. So, the first baby, her name is Beth, because I like Yellowstone. But we have another baby girl and a baby boy. So, leave in the comments below. I'm going to try to turn the comments on again. Leave the comments below of what kind of name would you like to, and I'll pick from the comments. How about that? Okay. Let me get the bowl. Right. Put that in your bowl like so. Try to get all this excess dough off your hands. Okay. Now, what I do now is got to set for an hour in a warm place. So, I put mine in the microwave. I don't turn it on. I put a piece of, see here, you can come with me. I do put a piece of wax paper down, see there? And I put it in here. And I let it set for an hour. And that should double in size. So I'll turn on my timer. There we go. Now, let me get cleaned up and we'll be back. Okay, our dough's done. So let's get it out of the microwave. Check that out. It's so pretty. Okay, so let's put you right here. I need to get me a stand on her. Okay. Now this is what you want. This is perfect. This is what gives you just 2 tablespoons of yeast will give you. When I put 3, it went over the bowl. Okay. Now, what you want to do now is, if you want to make rolls, get your muffin pan and butter it up. Now, I'm not going to use all this dough today. You can put it in the refrigerator and save it for later in the week. I probably will make homemade pizza dough out of it. So, and maybe some pepperoni rolls. But today I'm gonna make me some rolls. It'll go with our roast I have in the crock pot. Our homegrown roast. Homegrown roast. Which when my kids were little, they always named our cows, and we've always named them. A lot of people's like, oh, how can you do that? Well, that's just what they did. And they knew we were going to eat them. My grandson, one of my grandsons, he always, like, our latest cow that it's in the crock pot today, his name is Brow. And he's like, you still got some more of those brow ribs? Probably going to get some comments about that, but that's how life is when you live on a farm. But animals on here and you don't have any, if you can't eat it, don't have it. Okay, so now get some butter on your hands. And you're going to pinch off. That's so pretty. You're going to pinch off a little bit of it. See here? Kind of roll it around a little bit into a little ball, and you put it down into your muffin pan. And we'll do this till all of them is in there. You'll have to keep putting butter on your hands. Now I've got the oven preheated for 350. And what you'll do is you'll let these set probably for about till they double in size. They won't take very long if your kitchen's really warm. And then we'll put them in the oven for 15 minutes. And till they're golden brown. You'll have butter. I've got some butter sitting here, whole stick, brand new stick. And you'll brush the tops of them with butter when they come out of the oven. See, this makes a lot of dough. I usually get 24 rolls out of this, plus have some left over for pizza dough. Well, that sun is shining today. We've had a really bad cold spell where we live. So there we go. Now, see, this is what's left. Let me wash my hands. So we'll get the dough over there and get it rising again. Okay. Let me show you. See here? Okay, so you let it sit there. My oven's on. It'll be really warm. And we'll come back and we'll bake them in the oven. Okay, so here they are after they've done rised up. Little mushroom heads. So what we'll do is we'll put them in the oven. And I'll see them in 15 minutes. Okay, so here they are after they've done rised up. Little mushroom heads. So what we'll do is we'll put them in the oven. And I'll see them in 15 minutes. Okay, it's time to get them out of the oven now. Look at that. Oh, it smells. This house smells so good. Oh, those are so pretty. Okay, so let's take our butter. Get a little brush here. Brush the tops of them. Brush the tops of them. And I'm going to get taste test one for you. And I hope you try this recipe in your kitchen. Because nothing's better than a nice freshly baked roll. On a cold winter day. Right, here's the, look at the bottoms. Oh, they turned out pretty. Let's turn this oven off. Okay, look at that. Let me get a napkin here. Let's see here. Oh, sorry. Made you fall. Okay, so let's half this up. It's hot. Look at that. Get some butter on it. Let's give this a taste test. Pinch some off. Look at that. Yum. Oh, these turned out really good. Remember, practice makes perfect. I didn't do this right for the first time. It took practice. And then you can have your own hot rolls. thanks for joining me today. Now we're going to eat some and have some dinner. Bye-bye. Okay, it's time to get them out of the oven now.